Yo, 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 what's going on, guys? Joey Sugarbuck is back here with another video for you guys. So I know generally do it Saturday night, doing it Sunday morning this week because was super busy last night and just did not have time to make it. But same process and same video. So here we go. Game picks for Week 9 of the 2022 NFL season. So let's jump right on into it, guys. Coming up with the first game, we have the 4-3 Chargers at the 4-4 Falcons. The Chargers, I would say, are definitely underperforming this year. They've been okay, but they've also been inconsistent, just have not been, dominating at all times by any means. The Falcons, meanwhile, are kind of overperforming. I mean, they're 4-4, my understanding is they actually are in first place in the NFC South right now, because the Bucks, of course, lost to Baltimore last Thursday. Saints are worse than them, as are the Panthers. So my understanding is the Falcons actually are in first place right now. So I don't know how much they're fixated on that right now because it is only week 9, but that's pretty impressive if you think about it. So anyways, this is a big game for them, and I honestly could see this going either way because I think both teams are really inconsistent and love to blow leads. It's in Atlanta, but I do think the Chargers are going to get this win. They know they need to play better. They are dealing with a lot of injuries, but I do trust them to get this done. So give me the Chargers winning this game, guys, 27-21. But it should be a pretty good game. Next game, guys, we have the 5-3 Dolphins with the 3-5 Bears. So the Dolphins got a nice win against the Lions last week. They got off to a cool start, but they came back and won. Bears, meanwhile, 3-5, obviously not good at all. And of course, they have made some trades. They traded Robert Quinn to the Eagles, I'm pretty sure, and of course traded Roquan Smith to the Ravens. So they've traded away a couple other superstars. So that's definitely indicating that they're kind of in rebuild mode. So the Dolphins should be able to win this game pretty easily. They know they need to stay ahead of the pace. So give me the Dolphins winning this game, guys, 34-17. Next game, guys, we have the 2-6 Panthers at the 4-4 Bengals. So the Panthers obviously suck. They have been underperforming big time this year, and they've been trading away quite a few of their superstars. Christian McCaffrey, of course, to name one. They, of course, got calls on DJ Moore and Brian Burns, but they didn't end up trading them. And then, of course, they traded Robbie Anderson. So I don't know. I'm kind of puzzled on if they're in rebuild mode or not, because if they really were in rebuild mode, they probably would have traded more of their superstars, but maybe they're just still rebuilding and just building around them. I don't know. But anyway, the Panthers, not their year, clearly. The Bengals, meanwhile, been very back and forth this year. They've got out to a really rough start. They looked good for a few weeks, and then they kind of, fell back a little bit. And they're sitting here at 4-4. But they played pretty poorly against the Browns on Monday. And then the question is, can Burrow still succeed without Ja'Marr Chase? Because he didn't have Chase last week, did not play very well, and he's not going to have Chase this week and for the next several weeks. So can he, be able to use the other weapons such as T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd instead of Ja'Marr Chase? We'll see what happens. Obviously, the first game did not go so well, but it was the first game without him. It's also in Cincinnati. The Bengals know they need to bounce back after the loss last week, so I think the Bengals should win this game pretty easily. Give me the Bengals winning this game, guys, 35-14. Next game, guys, we have the 3-5 Packers at the 1-6 Lions. So the Packers are spiraling out of control. They've lost 3 in a row, I think. Let's see, they've lost. They lost to the Jets. They lost to the Giants. They lost to the Bills last week. So yeah, they are again spiraling out of control. And then some reports came in this morning that apparently they were really active at the deadline, before the deadline, I should say, trying to acquire players, but they just never cashed in on any of them. The Lions, meanwhile, I mean, they lost a close game last week. They put up a good fight against the Dolphins, but they couldn't hang on. They just cannot close out games to save their lives. But the Lions, just in general, are not very good this year, clearly. It's in Detroit, but the Packers, I think this is a great opportunity for them to get at least somewhat of a bounce-back win, and at least improve to 4-5. It's a little more respectable. So give me the Packers winning this game, guys. Let's go with Green Bay, 31-17. Next game, guys, we have the 2-5 Raiders at the 2-6 Jaguars. Of course, the Jaguars got off to a rather interesting start. They were like 2-1 at one point and actually playing decent football, but they've completely fallen off a cliff since. No real surprise. But of course, the Raiders have been a massive disappointment this year. I always thought they were overrated, and I didn't think they were going to be that good. But I didn't think they were going to be this bad. I thought they would be very middle of the pack. They're below middle of the pack. They've been pretty bad. They got shut out by the Saints last week. Just played like absolutely horribly, especially on offense. I don't know what's going on with Derek Carr, but he is not himself this year. Adams has been good, but he's also been dealing with some injury issues. He and Carr are not, on the page that I thought they would be on. Their defense has not been very good either. I don't think they're well coached. I think they really missed their interim head coach. So the Raiders are in a desperate situation right now. I think they're going to be able to win this game. I still don't think it's going to make much of a difference, though, because I think the Chargers and the Chiefs are both going to finish ahead of them, and I think the Raiders' playoff chances are very slim right now. But anyways, they're on the road, but they should be able to bounce back and win this game, at least somewhat. So give me the Raiders winning this game. Let's go with LV, I should say, 27-14. Next game, guys, we have the 3-4-1 Colts at the 4-4 Patriots. So the Colts, lots of close game with the Commanders last week. I remember watching the end of that game. Terry McLaurin just went sicko mode, and they pulled it out. So the Colts kind of sold in the end. And then a big headline going into this game is the Colts are without Jonathan Taylor. He's dealing with, I think, an ankle injury. He's been dealing with injuries all year, but he's not playing in this game. And the Colts also traded Nyheim Hines to the Bills, I'm pretty sure. So I'm not sure who their starting running back is going to be. But anyways, the Patriots have been very back and forth this year. They got embarrassed by the Bears on Monday Night Football almost 2 weeks ago, but then they actually had a nice rebound winning against the Jets last week. I don't know if that was that the Patriots actually rebounded and played well, or if the Jets are just a fluke. Probably a little bit in the middle. I don't think the Jets are good, but they're better than usual. I think the Patriots, they played a decent game. I still don't think that Mac Jones is that good. He was kind of mid, but their defense played well, so I'll give them that. They have Zach Wilson's number big time. Anyways, it's in New England. The Patriots know that they're kind of like, I don't know if they're in the playoff picture, if the season ends today. I don't think they are, but they know that they're knocking on the door. And then in their division, very unlikely that they catch Buffalo, but they definitely could stay ahead of New York. So I think that they know that. And this is a desperate situation for them. Granted, it is a desperate situation for the Colts because their playoff chances obviously are still there. It's slim, but they could still make it. So really, this is a must-win for both teams, but Colts are without Jonathan Taylor. They have Sam Ehlinger as their quarterback. It's in New England. I'm going to bet my money on the Patriots in this one. So give me the New England winning this game, 24-17. Next game, guys, we have the 6-1 Bills at the 5-3 Jets. So the Bills are like living in the golden age right now. They're kind of clicking on all cylinders. I would say, last week against Green Bay, they got off to a really nice start, and then the second half they kind of cooled off. I think Allen threw a couple picks, and the Packers defense actually played pretty well in the second half. But still, they're still overall playing very well. Their defense is playing very well. It's obviously got some injury issues. I think no Matt Milano this week, but despite Matt Milano being out, they still have plenty of other guys. So yeah, the Bills are really looking like the front runner in the AFC right now. Maybe the Chiefs. But anyways, the Jets, meanwhile, did not play well last week against the Patriots. As I mentioned, they got kind of demolished. I shouldn't say demolished, but they did not play well. Their defense played okay, but their offense was horrible. It's in New York, so they got back-to-back home games here, but I think the Bills are going to win this game. I know the Jets are going to be desperate to bounce back after the loss last week, but the Bills are a much better all-around team. Zach Wilson is ever inconsistent. So give me the Bills winning this game, guys, 35-24. Next game, guys, we have the 6-1 Vikings at the 4-4 Commanders. So the Vikings, they too, Golden Age might be a stretch, but they're playing very good football right now. I think their one loss was to the Eagles, was it? I forget. But anyway, again, the Vikings are playing very well right now. And I think they're doing a better job of spreading the ball around on offense too. It's not just been Justin Jefferson. Thielen's been good. Cook's been good. Cousins, inconsistent, but he's been doing at least decently well. Their defense has been okay. The Commanders, meanwhile, are starting to, rebound a little bit. They beat the Packers 2 weeks ago, and then they had a come from behind win against the Colts last week. So the Commanders are feeling pretty good. It's also in Washington, so that helps. But I think the Vikings will win this game. They're a much better all-around team. The Commanders, they had to really, really work to beat those two teams, and arguably neither team was that good. So give me the Vikings winning this game, guys. Let's go with the Vikings 30-23, but it should be a pretty good game. Next game, guys, we're moving into our later slots now. We have the 5-3 Seahawks and the 3-5 Cardinals. So talk about an overperforming team. Seattle has been doing their thing. They got off to a little bit of a cool start, but the past several weeks they have been dealing. And the guy who's really been dealing is Geno Smith. I don't know who expected that. He's kind of been around in the league for a while too, but he's been playing really, really well. I haven't watched Seahawks games to be honest, but I look at some stats, look at some film, and Geno Smith has actually been playing really well. I'm impressed. So that's cool. Cardinals, meanwhile, again, it's every year, man. I don't know why. Every year people think, oh, the Cardinals are going to be so good. They're going to be so good. As long as they have Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury, I just don't think they are going to be. I don't think Kingsbury is a great coach. I think he's a good offensive mind, but I don't think he's a good all-around coach. And you know my stance on Kyler Murray. I just think he is very overrated. However, they have Hopkins now, which is great. But it just shows like the Cardinals offense has probably had their two best games the past couple of weeks. Why? Because Hopkins is back. It just shows how valuable Hopkins is to the team. The DeAndre Hopkins disrespect gets on my nerves so much, man. He is so valuable to that Cardinals offense. They are not remotely the same without him. Obviously, still no Marquise Brown. He's got that foot injury, I think, or ankle injury. But anyways, it's in Arizona, which helps. But I don't know, man. The Cardinals are not playing very well right now. And Seattle is dealing. They beat the Giants, I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks ago. And they're playing pretty good football. So give me the Seahawks winning this game on 24-20. But it should be a nice AFC West showdown. Next game, guys, we have the 3-4 Rams at the 3-5 Bucks. So, if you looked at the schedule, before the season, you would think, oh, this is a game to circle. What a game this is going to be. But oddly enough, this is looking like what people like to call the battle of mid because both teams are just very mediocre this year. And unexpectedly, I mean, I definitely thought that the Rams would take a step back, but I didn't think they were going to be this bad. They are not playing well at all right now. They're 3-4. Offensively, they're not playing well. Stafford's been off. Their defense is not remotely as good as it usually is. Bucks, meanwhile, Brady is not himself. Probably because, he's getting old, but of course, the family stuff, I'm sure, is getting the better of him. And then their defense obviously did not play well against Baltimore last week. It hasn't been bad in general. It's been okay, but they're just not playing very well as a team right now. They're at home. I don't know, man. Again, as I said earlier, what I once wanted to credit as like, oh, what a game this is going to be. This is kind of going to be like, I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to be a bad game, but both teams just are not playing well right now. But I'm gonna go with the Bucks here. I really don't like the way the Rams are playing right now. Granted, the Bucks have arguably been worse, but it is Tom Brady after all. He's not totally washed, I don't think. They've also had a long rest because they played Thursday, so they've had 10 days roughly. And again, they're at home. So give me the Bucks winning this game in a close one, 27-24. It should be a pretty good game though. Okay, guys, we're now into our Sunday night football game. Part of, if you noticed, this is a bit of a shorter video. Part of it is because there's actually 6 teams on a bye this week, so that takes out 3 games, so speeding it up a little bit. Anyways, this is our Sunday night football game. We have the 5-2 Titans and the 5-2 Chiefs. This should be a very good game. They put it on primetime for a reason. So the Titans are on a roll right now. They lost their first 2 games, but they have been dealing ever since. So I don't totally know where their quarterback situation is at. I know Tannehill's been out, and then Malik Willis stepped in. I'm not sure who's starting at quarterback this week. I think it's Malik Willis, but I don't know for sure. I saw that Tannehill was traveling with the team, so I think that he might be active, but as far as I know, Malik Willis is starting. But the big headline is Derrick Henry. When he's healthy, he is just really, really hard to stop. Last week, great, it was the Texans, to be fair, but he just was feasting. He had over 200 rushing yards. Yes, he did have 30 carries, but Henry, man, when he's on, he is on. Now for the Chiefs, so they've been back and forth. They, of course, lost to the Bills a couple weeks ago, but in general, they've been looking a lot like their 2019 to 2018 through 2020 selves. Their offense is clicking. Their defense, of course, has always been an issue. It's not great again this year, but it's been at least getting the job done. It's in Kansas City. The Chiefs much better at home than on the road. This is going to be a good game. I'm going to have to go with the Chiefs here because what the Chiefs can do is put up a lot of points. And if they get off to a hot start, especially if Malik Willis is starting, it might force the Titans to abandon the run game early and, have to rely on the pass. And their passing game is definitely not very good. So it's in Kansas City. Again, the Chiefs offense, I do trust them over the Titans. So give me the Chiefs winning this game, guys. 31-24, but it should be a good game. Okay, guys, this is our last game, and saving the best for last. Monday Night Football. We have the 5-3 Ravens at the 3-5 Saints. So the Ravens, of course, we came off a great win against the Bucks last week. Rebounded big time in the second half. The Saints, meanwhile, have been back and forth this year. They are feeling pretty good after they just shut out the Raiders last week. Excuse me. They're dealing with some injuries of their own. No Marshawn Lattimore, no Mark Ingram this week. But the Ravens, we are dealing with plenty of injuries on our own. No Mark Andrews this week, no Gus Edwards this week. We have other guys who are questionable. But at the same time, we are expecting, the plan is for Tyus Bowser to return. There's also a chance David Ojabo returns. We haven't been told confidently on that yet. But it would make more sense to me if, we just didn't play. We rested him this game, and then we have a bye week next week, so he gets all that extra time, and then he makes his debut against Carolina coming out of the bye. But, not my choice, and there's definitely a chance we see him tomorrow. But regardless, Bowser is playing as far as I know. So that is great to see. And then, of course, Campbell will be back after the illness last week. And, in general, health-wise, it's not looking great. Of course, we took a big blow. Turns out that Rashad Bateman is actually going to be out for the year. He's going to get Lisfranc surgery. I don't know how you pronounce it. That foot injury that he suffered against Buffalo clearly was nagging at him, and we clearly once again rushed him back, did not treat it well, and it just tells you, man, our strength and conditioning staff needs to be changed. I'm sorry, it does. Our doctors, whoever it is, changes need to be made because this is happening far too often. We misjudge injuries, we rush guys back, we're not good on timelines, and our guys get hurt so damn much. I mean, I don't get it. So yeah, changes need to be made. I think. I don't think that'll happen this year, and they may not even happen next year. But it's very frustrating with all the injuries because you just feel so bad for the players. It's so demoralizing, But anyways. So no Mark Andrews this week, and this is going to be like the first game that he misses because of injury. So it's going to be up to Isaiah Likely to lead the charge in the tight end category. He played very well last week, had his best game of the season, had like 6 catches for 70-something yards and a touchdown, beautiful throw and catch. And then it's going to be it's really for the rest of the year going to be Devin Duvernay as the wide receiver 1. And of course, I think I mentioned this earlier in the week, the Ravens, we did actually cash in at the trade deadline. I didn't think we would, but on Halloween, a day before the trade deadline concluded, we traded for Roquan Smith, linebacker from the Bears. I'm a little surprised by this. If you guys remember, back in like the late summer before the season started, there was a lot of, noise about Roquan Smith wanting to be out. He was really frustrated with the Bears and his contract, but then he ended up playing, and the quote-unquote holdout ended. But apparently he still wanted to be traded, and the Bears, I guess they weren't doing well, so they decided they would trade him away, and we cashed in on him. So I'm really happy about that, and I think that Roquan Smith is the guy that we really could use, because what he can do is tackle. That's what he's best known for. I think he's pretty good in coverage as well, but what he's really known for is tackling. He leads the league in tackles, I think. And of course, as you guys know, our defense in general, especially our linebackers, struggle big time with tackle. And Queen's got issues with that. Harrison does. Our tackling needs work, and I think Roquan Smith will really help out in that category. And I think that's really what we wanted to get. We tried to get Bobby Wagner last year in free agency, and I think that's what we were probably going to use him for, to mostly tackle. And now, instead of that, we traded for a much younger, in his prime linebacker. So I'm really happy about this move. At the same time, we didn't make a move for a receiver. Our number 1 wide receiver is out for the year. So receivers are a big-time issue. Devin Duvernay, who I will admit has impressed me this year, and he's been playing well, but I definitely do not think he is a number 1 wide receiver. And then we have James Prochet and Tylan Wallace, also, and Demarcus Robinson, who's also questionable with an injury. So yeah, our receiving core is looking dicey, and no Mark Andrews this week. So I think, and no Gus Edwards either. So I think the offense is going to struggle this week for sure. They're going to have very few weapons to work with. So I'm really going to have to trust in our defense. But I think our defense can play a good game this week. Roquan Smith making his debut as far as I know. Tyus Bowser also coming back. Possibly David Ojabo. Our defensive line is healthier than it was last week. Secondary is at least somewhat healthy. So I'm going to go with the Ravens here. I think it's going to be close. I think we're going to struggle offensively, but I think we'll pull it out in the end. Let's go with the Ravens 23-20. And guys, that is going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to our channel if you are new. And I am out. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Go Ravens, and I will see you guys after the Ravens game. It might be a few days later, but I'll make a recap work, and I will see you all then.